In her book, Notes on Nursing, Florence Nightingale discusses the little things that we take for granted today that really make a big impact in nursing.
Yeah, obviously in the past when she was in the hospitals, they didn't take good care or didn't do the necessary things for the well-being of the patient. And although they seem little today, they were a huge portion of the past.
One of the major principles in Florence Nightingale's book is the importance of the bedding.
The bedding is important to the patient because if it's not properly set up or if it's not clean, the patient will be really uncomfortable because the sheets wouldn't be straight enough or wouldn't be tidy, and this would cause uncomfortableness for the patient, or as worse, like infections and bed sores.
And in today's hospitals, nurses make sure that the bedding is changed regularly and that it's very neat so none of those things happen.
Yeah, for the patient's well-being. The second principle Florence Nightingale emphasizes is the cleanliness of the air. The reason why she emphasizes so much on clean air was because hospitals were built by sewers or where there were busy streets, and pollution would obviously go through the windows.
And that obviously didn't help the environment they already in. It made the conditions worse. So even in today, it's really important to make sure there's really good ventilations in the room and to close the doors in between the other wards to stop bad air from coming into the room. You want to make sure the room's air is as clean as possible.
Proper walls or whatever, the viral infections or diseases can pass through each patient and it just be a total mess.
Point that Nightingale emphasizes in her books is the importance of personal cleanliness.
Personal cleanliness or personal hygiene is important for the patient's well-being and it helps them heal. For instance, if you had a bunch of scars or wounds, it's important to replace or change the bandages, because if you leave it on, it can lead to bigger infections, it can lead to more diseases. And another personal way to keep the patient clean is by sponge baths for certain, because they can't have all the germs going around them.
And today in hospitals, it's really important that when you're regularly changing bandages that you use clean bandages and materials to make sure or to prevent the spread of infection.
The fourth and last principle Florence Nightingale emphasizes is chatting or talking with the patient.
And the reason this is so important is because back in her day, they were understaffed, so they would have to leave patients alone for long periods of time, which would not contribute to the patient's mental health, and mental health is just as important as physical health. So nurses today should always check up on their patients regularly to see if they need anything and just to be there for them through the process of being in the hospital.
Yeah, or understand what they're doing.
Oh, nurse! I can't get comfortable.
Oh, I see the problem. You just have to make the bed properly. Okay.
Much better.
One main point Florence Nightingale emphasizes is that the cleanliness of the patient's bed is important to their health.
The reason why it's so important for the patient is because depending on the way the bed is set up, if it's dirty or if it's like full of diseases or like germs, the patient can either get sick, even more sick, can get bed sores, and or be uncomfortable and get rashes, and just the well-being of the patient is very important.
It's really hot in here. Nurse, can you help me?
Sure, I can.
That's much better. Thanks, nurse.
Another main point Florence Nightingale emphasizes is the importance of clean air.
Even though clean air is a little thing that people don't really think about anymore, it can make a big difference in helping stop spread disease and just keeping the overall atmosphere of the hospital cleaner.
Ugh, this is so itchy. It's been on for days and it's bleeding through. Nurses, help!
Oh my gosh, this is way overdue.
All better now.
The third point Florence Nightingale emphasizes is the importance of patient cleanliness.
As you saw, the patient suffered long overdue bandages and wounds, and obviously that is very harmful to the patient. Whether it be a wound care that needs to be fixed or them sweating constantly, they need to be washed or cleaned because it's able to prevent all bad things happening, because the patient's already sick in the inside, so they obviously need to be like clean and safe on the outside.
I'm so sad. I wonder when I'm gonna get better. I'm bored. I wonder what dinner is coming. No one's talking to me.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm so good.
Is your bed okay? Are you comfortable?
Yes, thank you.
Are you feeling better?
Florence Nightingale's fourth principle she emphasizes is chatting with the patient.
It's important to note that mental health is just as important as physical health. How would you like it if you were isolated in a room by yourself? It's very important that the nurse checks in with their patient periodically to see how they're doing.
Although Florence Nightingale's 4 main principles may seem like common sense, they're extremely important to the patient's recovery.
Her points have changed a little over time, but the central idea is still prevalent in hospitals today.